Sports has always played a huge role in my life growing up, and even though I'm not a college athlete, it continues to be a passion of mine. Sports has many benefits, and I wanted to explore the impact sports has at college. In particular, I wanted to discover the role athletics play here at Emory and the college experience. Robert Sternberg, who wrote an article on the effects of sports on colleges around the nation, says, quote, college athletics play a key, perhaps even necessary role in a well-rounded higher education experience, end quote. For student athletes, as a member of a sports team, you acquire skills and abilities unique to being part of a team, primarily leadership. Leadership is a quality people desire and employers seek. If there is one reason for higher education, it is for leadership development, and nothing teaches leadership better than the experience on a sports team. Stress is the biggest and most common obstacle all students face at college. Studies have shown that exercise and athletic activity reduces stress significantly and leads to an overall improved and healthy life. Obviously, this helps student athletes, but sporting events can also relieve stress for non-athletes. While at games and other sporting events, the community that is created due to loyalty, spirit, and pride helps alleviate stress. While at the game, students forget about their worries and live in the moment, not thinking about upcoming exams or job interviews. The camaraderie and spirit is infectious and ameliorates the morale and experience for the student body. Sporting events leads to memories and experience that lasts a lifetime. If the home team wins an important game or upsets its rival, the enthusiasm and optimism spreads around campus. For this assignment, I chose to interview Andrew, who played varsity sports in high school but is not a college athlete, and Bailey, who plays for the Emory women's varsity soccer team. What are your thoughts on the support or lack of support for the varsity sport teams from the Emory community?
Well, I think the support is kind of embarrassing to be honest. There's almost little to no support here, and it's just kind of unfortunate because almost all of the schools that my friends go to, it's just huge support. Everybody's super excited about all the sports, and here there's just almost none.
So Emory in general does a pretty good job. We have posters all around the school whenever we have a game, letting them know what time, what sport it is, and what gender it is that's playing at that time. So every game you see signs around for at least the whole day, letting people know. They send posters out that we put around campus and stuff. So I think Emory does a pretty good job of like getting the word out and supporting us as a team.
As a student, why do you think there isn't more support for the sport teams?
I think a big reason is just that the university doesn't seem like they care too much about sports. They don't really talk about it. There's no advertising of it. There's no promotion of our sports teams, even though they're top teams. Like I think our swimming team has won championship the last couple of years. I know basketball is very good. Baseball is very good. I think just there's no promotion of it, and people don't come. People there's not an idea. You don't come to Emory to watch sports teams.
Why is Emory different than other colleges and universities that support their sport teams?
Well, big reason is that we're a Division III school for sports. So even though we have like 8,000 kids here, there's since we're D3, we're not playing those big schools. There's no big rivalries that we have, and all the schools in our division also are up north. So you can't develop any rivalries, and there's no. It just doesn't create any passion in the for sports teams.
As an athlete, how does Emory compare to other colleges?
Compared to most D3 schools, Emory's facilities are amazing. Like the Woodruff PE Center is huge and has everything you could want, and like our field is really well kept. Compared to most D3 schools who don't have a football team, their facilities are a lot less nice. They have a lot less amenities than we do. So it's pretty cool being able to compare and realize like what a great place Emory is to play at, considering it's Division III.
Do you want a bigger athletic community on campus?
For sure. I would love there to be lots of sports teams that everyone cared about here. A big football program, like a big kind of like SEC or an ACC program here. That would be fantastic. I think it would be a lot of fun because I've gone and visited my friends at other schools a couple Saturdays just to go see college football games. And I think if we had that here, that would be very exciting.
It helped a ton. I mean, having a big sports team like that people follow was the best part of the whole thing. Having like a community that was helpful and wanted you guys to do well and was always there for you no matter what was definitely the best part for me at least.
What type of media is used to advertise sport games, and what can be changed and improved to create a bigger athletic fan base here at Emory?
I think a big thing is just the university advertising more and promoting our sports teams. I think like there's no I see very little social media presence for the university about our sports teams. The only thing I really see is on game days they have those little posters outside that say, "Oh, here's the volleyball team is playing right now. Go watch." And that's not going to draw kids to go see sporting events.
We're in charge of actually putting those posters that have our schedules up at the beginning of the season. So we put those up in dorm rooms, like around campus in the dining hall. But we also use like Facebook and Instagram to promote our games. So a lot of times on game days, we'll post on Facebook like, come support our team play at this time at this location, which is always helpful. And like for me and my sorority, I'll put in our sorority Facebook page for like to get my sisters to come out and watch, which is always fun and helpful.
Do you think an increased social media presence can help the support for Emory athletics?
Yeah, definitely. I think each sports team should probably have its own page on Facebook at least, or its own Instagram account to let people know when and where games are. I think Emory could do a better job of something like that. They have a strong Twitter following, but I know I don't have a Twitter, so I don't know how well they do with that. But I think definitely social media would be a big help with promoting games at least.
I think a big thing is just spreading the word, going on social media, going on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is, and just getting all your friends to come to the games through like making pages for like making an event for varsity for like senior night for volleyball or soccer or whatever it is, and just trying to get the kids on the sports teams to let everyone else know how big of a deal it is, and because the kids on the teams obviously care a lot about their sports and they're very invested in it. And I think if we can get the community invested in it as well, that would be a lot of fun.
Do you think sports would be a positive influence on the college experience in the Emory community?
100%. I think a lot of my friends that go to big Division I schools, they're able to balance their work with all the fun of the sports and athletics that go on there. And I think for the university, not only is it a lot of fun to have sports and big sports here, it's a clear money making opportunity for the university as well. Having big programs here enables you to sell tickets. You can have sponsors for things, and I think it would help the university as a whole.
How does Emory compare to your high school experience with respect to sports?
So I actually went to an all-girls school. So the sports teams were actually pretty highly valued considering it was all girls, at least the soccer team. We had a big following. In my senior year, we went to states, and it was the first time in history. And we had a huge crowd of 300 out of 800 girls from the school who followed us up to Melbourne, which is 4 hours away from my high school, just to watch. So that was pretty great. And we always had big crowds at every game, which was fun.
It's a lot worse. High school sports at my school were a big deal, and they were a lot of fun. Everyone participated, and everyone went to all the games, and everyone would always get really hyped before the games. And here, I've been to maybe one basketball game, and no one really cared. You just kind of went because I was kind of curious what the basketball team looked like, and no one really got into it, which is a real bummer.
Did you think there would be a big sports community at Emory? What were your expectations coming into college?
I did. I just kind of assumed that I was going to a college. There's going to be everyone would care about sports, or at least the big sports at our school, and it would be a lot of fun in that regard. I think I didn't take into account that it is a D3 school, even though we have 8,000 kids. The fact that it's D3 means the competition level is lower, which means we can't recruit as good kids, which makes it less exciting.
I was expecting it to be a lot less intense because it's Division III, but we have a lot of practices, a lot of games, a lot of time commitment on the road, which was definitely not how I pictured it. I pictured it still to be difficult, but not quite as difficult as it is. But I think at Emory, the school does an okay job of supporting us. They do promote our games. They do try to get fans out there, but we definitely don't get any advantages with picking classes, for example, is a great example. Like, we don't get any priority, even though we have to schedule around all of our practices. So if we need specific classes we have to take and they don't fit our schedule, it's pretty hard to figure it out and do practice and travel. So I think in that way the school's less supportive than it could be, but they try to make it as like an enjoyable experience as they can for us, and they do a good job.
What role does gender play in sports?
For me personally, I kind of enjoy going to men's sports more, because one, that includes football, which girls don't play, and football games are extremely exciting to me, and I'm also a huge baseball fan. So in that regard, just the types of sports, I guess, are more exciting for me. In terms of basketball, I've always, just because I've been a bigger college basketball fan on the men's side than women's side, that usually draws me more than a women's basketball game, and because they're more high scoring, and for that reason tend to be more exciting for a common fan.
There's definitely a huge difference in gender in sports. I mean, in general, men are just so much more athletic, so much more muscular, so much more capable than women in every sport, no matter how hard that is for me to say. It's definitely true. And I think in the support that girls receive versus guys is very different. Like, guys play football and basketball that have huge followings, where women who play basketball or soccer don't have quite that fan base, which is hard, but it's understandable as well because they play at such a faster, higher pace, more competitive. It's definitely more entertaining to watch, even for me.
As you can see, there are varying opinions on the subject here at Emory. While there are many improvements Emory can make to develop a bigger athletic community and in return support our varsity teams better, one thing is certain. Sports is more than just wins and losses. Both watching and playing sports can and do improve the social, mental, and physical health of the student body, and as a result, improve the college experience as a whole.